Hello lads and lasses and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you even more transfer news. We've gotten some new candidates on the line at both centre back and left back, so we'll talk a little bit about them. We have an update on one of the left backs mentioned yesterday, and then to finish off, we have a player potentially leaving the club, a new player that could be on the way out. That could mean it is easier to sign someone. Who knows? We'll find out, but we'll talk about that later, of course. Before we get into any of the transfer news, though, I'll say it like I do every video. If you're new around here, or if you find yourself here quite often, head down below, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 200 by the end of the year. We're currently on 139, so let's get that number moved up. But while you're down there, may as well leave a like if you're enjoying the videos. Turn those notifications on so you know when I upload. I'm uploading loads at the moment because there's lots to talk about. Lovely stuff. Let's talk about these transfers. So to begin with, we have been linked with a couple of centre-backs actually. Joachim Andersen and Antonio Silva are obviously high on the list. For some reason, Andersen's high on the list. I understand he's a like for Shaw, but that's about it. Apart from that, he's awful. I'm still not a fan, funny enough. But they're both look unlikely due to fees. Anderson being quoted at like something stupid like 40 million. Okay, 40 million pounds. He's 27 years old. Not worth that in the slightest. He's not lit up the Premier League. I mean, he's finished mid-table with Crystal Palace. That's all he's done. Antonio Silva has some upside though. He's 19 years old and he's only going to improve really. So if we could get him and Hall in, that would be the dream, and I would cream myself. But I don't think that's going to happen. And today news has came out that probably won't happen. We are looking to bring the likes of, first of all, Malik Thiaw. He is currently at AC Milan. He played for Schalke before that. Last season, in fact, he played 3 games for Schalke before he moved to AC, where he played 20 games in Serie A, 4 Champions League games as well. Played as a centre-back in every single one of those games. It's fine. It's what we need. We do need a centre-back. That's still my number one thing, is we need to bring in a centre-back. So let's get it over and done with. Let's bring in this centre-back. Yeah, that's all I have on him. I've not really watched him. He would be an interesting signing. He is 22 years old, so still a lot to grow. He's valued at 20 mil, but I'm sure AC would want to bump that up. He'd probably hit about 30-35 mil. So it's another one of them transfers. If we're going to be spending 30 mil on a player this transfer window, we'd probably be wanting to do it on Lewis Hall. I would take Lewis Hall over a centre-back, if I'm going to be honest. I would prefer to still sign one on loan. That would be fun. That's what we need. The other centre-back is Armel Bella-Kotchap, the Southampton centre-back. He's played a little bit of right-back as well, so another player who can play a bit of everywhere. He played 26 games for Southampton last season. I don't think he did very well from what I heard. He's a bit hit and miss. Sometimes he did really well. Sometimes defensively he was actually quite poor. I mean, not surprised he was in a Southampton side that got relegated. But that is another option, and he is as well rated around £20 million, but has a £21 million relegation release clause. So that could work in our favour, not having to pay over the top money for him. But it could also mean that we try and wangle down the price a little bit, because if push comes to shove, pay the release clause, and then we would be able to bring him in. He's only 21 as well, so again, lots and lots of room to grow there. The centre-backs is something we still need. Whether these two are the answer is a different question. I'm not overly confident, especially on Bella-Kotchap. Not overly confident on him signing for the club. I don't know a lot about Thiaw, so I can't give a proper opinion, but they are the centre-backs we are currently linked with. And something else we need, of course, is a left-back. So on left-back talk, obviously we are wanting to hijack the Lewis Hall deal. It's looking like there's more reports coming out. I think the Mail have put something out saying that we do indeed want to bring Lewis Hall in. Whether that's going to be something that can happen is another question, because of course that's £30 million that we are trying to get him for, and it looks like Chelsea are also going to be signing Elite, so they do need to sell players. There's no way that they can be buying all these players with FFP. No, even if they're putting them on these ridiculous 8-year contracts, it's a joke. They're going to have to sell at some point. We could pounce on Lewis Hall, but if we don't, we have been linked with Juan Miranda. He played his football at Real Betis last season, played 7 games in the Europa League, played 21 games in La Liga. All of his games played as a left-back, which again, something we need. He's 23 years old, so older than Lewis Hall. Might not have that Premier League quality yet, but he is of Barcelona's academy, and a much, much cheaper option. He's rated at £9 million. €9 million. So could be a much better option for it to get. A lot cheaper. It probably means that we could also bring in a centre-back. We could potentially be paying for a centre-back, which is ideal for. We could get a centre-back. We could get Bella-Kotchap and Miranda for 30 mil, which is what we'd be spending on Lewis Hall. So it's all dependent on what quality we really want to be bringing in. I do think Lewis Hall would be the better option. He's more suited to the Premier League game. He's played Premier League football before with Chelsea. Juan Miranda would take some adjusting. I do think we do need to shift Dan Burn out of that left-back role. He's not a great left-back. We'll work around it, but also left-backs. I mean, we may as well talk about it. We've had reports from Keith Downey, actually, that Tierney has had official contact made. Well, Tierney hasn't. Newcastle have made official contact with Arsenal about Tierney. There we go, that's what I meant to say. Arsenal wanting to sell, Newcastle wanting a loan option. I don't think that one's going to happen at this rate. Arsenal looking like they just want Tierney off their books. Newcastle only wanting a loan with an option to buy. We don't want to be obligated if he gets injured. That's probably going to happen. I talked about it a bit yesterday. A very injury-prone left-back. Not someone I think we want to be bringing into the club all too much. But a left-back's a left-back, and it's one of the positions we need to strengthen. But I don't think we're that desperate that we bring Tierney in, who is fantastic defensively, and as much as you will offer at left-back, is it worth bringing in someone who's probably going to be injured within like the first month of playing for the club? Probably not. I think we should look somewhere else, like Lewis Hall, even Juan Miranda. I'm sure we could do some investigating on that. Find out more about him, more about his game. A very cheap option as well, much cheaper than what Tierney would be costing. Tierney would be costing £35 million. I don't know where I got 20 from. £35 million, whereas Juan Miranda's about 9. Probably bump that up to 15 or so. Yes, they're our new left-back options. Lewis Hall looking less and less likely by the minute. Probably will go have a cry about it. And finally, on incomings, we have a young midfielder on the radar. A man by the name of Carlos Baleba. He's a 19-year-old. He's worth about £5 million. Plays for Lille. Last season, he actually played in 25 games. And he plays in anywhere in that midfield. So he'll play defensive, centre, attacking. I don't know what that equates to in numbers. I'm not a nerd. Right, I just know the words. So yeah, he played 25 games last season, played in the Coupe de France and the National Third Group G. Not a clue what that is, but some French competition, clearly. And then he played 19 games in Ligue 1. So if we do sign him, he's going to be one for the future. I would probably send him straight back out on loan. Because we don't need more midfielders. I think we are still pretty stacked. And I think we're fine when it comes to midfielders. I don't think we're in a place where we need to bring another one in. And finally, speaking of midfielders, Isaac Hayden could be set to leave for Southampton. They are looking for a James Ward-Prowse replacement. No contact's been made yet, but if he does go, it would free up a lot well, not a lot. It would free up a bit of money that we can use elsewhere, either be it on contracts or try and shift some of that money into transfer budget. Use it there, because I mean, we need to be signing players. We've got 2.5 weeks to do so, and it's not looking good. I'll be surprised if we sign anyone at this rate, as much as I want to sign Lewis Hall and any centre back at this rate, apart from Anderson. I draw the line at Anderson, but any centre back but him, we need to be signing someone. So that's all for this video. Couple of people on the radar now, a couple of new people on the radar. Tierney looks like the front runner for left back, which is a shame. But it is what it is. I'm sure he will do okay if he does come. My only worry would be injuries. So yeah, that's everything. Probably see you tomorrow for something. I'm sure we'll have more transfer news. I'm sure a new player will come out of nowhere and decide they want to sign for us, which would be lovely. But until then, I'll see you in a bit, pal.